Good deal. Okay. I believe we have a quorum, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This meeting is held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act 10:4-6 at SEEK. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcement. I'd like you to join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the
To
flag
the
of the
of
United
the
States
United
of America,
States of America, and to the republic
for which it
which
stands,
is
one nation,
one
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
with
and justice for
and
all.
justice for all.
Okay. Okay, will the secretary please call the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Here.
Mr. Duncan,
Here.
Mr. Gaffney,
Here.
Mrs. Crock,
Here.
Mr. Ray.
Here.
Mr. Riley,
Here.
Mr. Tappan, not here. Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Mr. Salvaggio,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Here.
and Mr. Gilbert is out.
All right, minutes. A motion is in order to approve the minutes from the meeting of August 3rd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll
make that
motion.
Sorry, who made the motion?
Mark made the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it, Daniel.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yeah. Okay, first item on the agenda is a completeness review. TBB Real Estate, Block 30707, Lot 6, 454 River Styx Road. The applicant would like to have a completeness review of the application/survey presented. Is there someone here from TBB Real Estate?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. This is Attorney Daniel L. McCarthy III on behalf of TBB Real Estate.
Okay.
I see my client is here. Very briefly, I'm hoping and presuming that the board members received a copy of my July 6th letter addressed to your clerk, Danielle Rennie, which explains why we were here. We were last before the board with a work session on May 18th. We formally submitted an application back in January. So when we met with the board last on May 18th, we presented a site plan. As I recall, the board reviewed it, a proposed site plan. Some comments were made, some suggestions for modifications were suggested by board members, and we went back and we came up with a revised proposed plan. At the top, it's dated June 14th, 2021, and it's based upon a survey prepared by Lee Amerspec. So we believe that we've incorporated the changes that were suggested. We sent the proposed June 14th map back to Ms. Rennie, and it was my understanding that it was then sent to your engineer, Mr. Rushke, who deferred the issue of completeness to the board. So for tonight's purposes, we're hoping that you will look at all this in total and hopefully concur that we are now ready to go prime time in front of the board, hopefully at the next meeting, which I think would be September 7th with a filing deadline of August 27th. And then we would like to have the board act on this plan or proposed plan at that time.
Okay.
I guess in short, this is one final look-see at what we've proposed before we formally submit it.
So basically what you've proposed, there's nothing going to be done on this site from here forward concerning this application. Is that how I look at it?
Well, other than what's been going on for a number of years, we have labeled an area to the left, employee parking on existing gravel. There has been parking there in the past. We'd like to document that in particularly because we've lost a lot of parking spaces on River Styx Road due to the light installation project that went on there. And my client would like to store boats in the area labeled trailer boat and storage area behind the pizzeria building. And last time we had some lines drawn there. We were showing various numbers of boat parking slips, and I believe it was suggested that we just simply demarcate an area where boats will be stored, whether it be 8 rowboats or 3 pontoon boats or whatever it might be. That's the area where the parking would take place. And then we've also demonstrated in the back bollards and a chain to show basically that access to West River Styx Road is closed off. My client doesn't necessarily want people coming in that way, wants to keep that, kind of sealed off back there. But it is for emergency access. Somebody could, I suppose, could cut the chain, or that could be opened. But that's basically it. There's not much else happening here other than what I just mentioned.
Okay, so going forward, I don't anticipate any further construction or anything happen. No, there's nothing else going to be going on this site other than what's already there now. Is that right?
That's correct. I mean, there's always been employee parking. We're just going to have it in this gravel area next to the masonry garage to the left. And we'd like to be able to store boats in that specifically defined area to the right of the masonry garage and behind the 1-story frame dwelling.
Okay.
Because the issue here was, we have the, technically, a formal site plan according to the borough code would be required. That's what I believe your engineer is suggesting. But for what we are trying to do here, my client, as I noted last time at the work session on May 18th, between the surveyor and the engineer, there's over $10,000 worth of design work that would have to be done to present such a simple application. And my client, I believe, mentioned last time that it would take him years to be able to recoup that cost on just the whatever little he would get for the boat storage. But basically, this issue did come about, I guess, originally, with a complaint that was submitted to the zoning officer by one of the neighbors. They saw, the area being cleaned up. There was piles of debris and leaves and sticks and logs and all kind of things there that my client cleaned up. And I guess it was interpreted as some kind of big construction project going on when it was really just cleaning up an existing site. So with the complaint going way back, of course, Mr. Donegan can speak for himself, but as I recall this, it was suggested that perhaps we should clean this up and have some kind of formal site plan on file. And as I recall the comments at the last meeting on May 18th, I believe it was said that there's very little in the way of a site plan on file now. And what we've presented, although not the gold standard, would be, far, superior to what's on file now.
Okay. Is there any questions from any of the board members of this application?
Do we know how dense it's going to be with parking in there? Because if they're concerned about cleaning a lot, will they be concerned if you have that many boats in there? Just curious.
Well, again, we at the last meeting, we understood that because at the last meeting we had in the trailer and boat area, the original map that was submitted, we had lines showing a number of boat parking spaces. And it was suggested at the last work session that we get rid of the lines and just show a box. So I don't know that we'll know at this point. As we say, let's say hypothetically, it could be 8 rowboats or it could be 3 pontoon boats. But whatever it is, we're proposing to limit ourselves to the area that we've boxed off.
But I also thought we stipulated in that because those parking spaces were not wide enough. You couldn't fit 22 boats in there, trailers and boats. It would never fit, just do the math on the width of the space. I think we stipulated how many boats might be in there. We have range of limit. So
well,
we don't.
My client is with us tonight. I see he's on. So I believe there had been some storage of boats in there in the past, Mr. Acuna, if I'm correct. And by the way, this is Todd Acuna, the principal of TBB Real Estate, who's with us tonight. And Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but were there boats stored there in the past? And if so,
there was
how many?
Stored years ago in the past in there, yes.
So,
but like I said, I mean, according to my recollection of the last meeting was that, we didn't have to put a number there because it could be X amount of jet skis to patio boats are all different sizes. You just wanted a spot, and I just kept blocked off the spot. So if 5 jet skis, 20 jet skis, or 6 jet skis and 4 pontoon boats. That's the only spot we're going to. That's how I interpreted the last meeting was, just have a spot, and that's what we did. Because, jet skis are different size than pontoon boats.
I recall exactly what you just said is what we suggested. We suggested taking out the lines and limited the storage space, and you can store whatever you want in that storage space.
Right.
But there were no need for having parking lines or anything. But you're limited to store boats in that storage space.
Exactly, Phil. I recall that also. It was just a limit of an area, no lines or number, because like they're saying, it's however many rowboats or how many pontoon boats. It's only in that area.
First come, first serve.
Right.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. I think this is a completeness hearing. I think when they come with a formal application, they'll propose how many spots they want to have, and then this way the public has a chance to have their input on it. I mean, I think right now we're just saying, can he move forward with this the way it's presented?
Well, Bob, let's be clear though, because as per the applicant, if that's what we want, okay, as a board, then we need to tell him he needs to line that for how many boats, because otherwise it's going to be a waste of a meeting again and more money blown down the drain. And my recollection, we were all happy with just the area, but
Well, we were happy with the area. We said the area, we said remove the lines. We also said not to overpack it. That's all I'm saying. You just can't stick them side by side dense. There's a difference between that. That's all I'm saying. We said that the last.
Bob, listen, what do you want to limit it to? 1 foot, 2 foot in between the boats? I mean, come on. It's only an area. He's going to pull them in there like anyone else. And, someone's going to have to walk between them to get to things or they're not. But
You can't stack them on top of each other.
you're not going to stack them on top of each other. And if the public comes and is not happy, they should come and, voice their opinion.
Yeah, and then it can be adjusted at that time. I mean, right now, that's the area that we told him to proceed with. In my opinion, this is
Ready to go.
it's ready to go. I don't see a need for any more documentation.
I don't either.
I mean, that's just my, is there any other discussion from the board or?
Yeah, all the marinas that I know of just stack they park their boat, they're almost touching each other. I don't know if there's any such thing that there should be X distance between boats. It's an efficiency of how you use the property, and that will be up to the responsibility of the person managing that particular boat parking area. As far as line spots go, I don't know if there is such a thing as a standard size boat like there might be with cars. So a dedicated spot would be simply just bad management. Just have an area where you park the boats. There's going to be no repair, so they can be, once they're put in place, they're there for the season, as I understand it. So it's a done deal. And then when they get the responsibility of the property, to take them, to separate them. And I don't think that we should go there.
Okay, I agree. So Mr. Hagerty, let me ask you this: do we have to have a motion to thing, or we just take a vote?
Yes, because he's presented this for a completeness review, so it's up to the board now. If you want to deem this application complete, that's fine. The applicant can then come to the next meeting and present testimony. We haven't taken any testimony tonight. We wouldn't on a completeness review. So the hearing would start then. So if the board thinks that this is sufficient in order to proceed, a motion to declare the application complete would be appropriate.
Okay, is there
we
any other?
preach to people, listen, we preach to people all the time, myself included, site plans. There are dozens, if not more, of commercial properties in our town that have almost no site plan. So this applicant is really trying to do the best he can and represent what's really going on there. And I think, in my opinion, they did a reasonably good job. He's not going to do any grading, as I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's just going to take an area and park some boats there. And he took an area and put some gravel down, and he has employees out of the circulation of the rest of the site, because it's commercial. And I think that was a pretty good move. And I watched him clean that mess up. It was really bad. And so, of course, people are going to complain when anything changes. I understand that. But But in this case, I would support this application as far as the work he's done now, as far as complete. If he was building a new building, that would be something different, but he's parking some boats in a clear area, and he's trying to legitimize it, because it's been done before, and now he's trying to just be straightforward with it and say, this is what we have, this is what we've been doing, and now it's legitimate. That's kind of my opinion.
Okay, so is that your motion, Mike? You're in a motion to deem this application complete?
Yeah.
All right, do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All right, Phil was the second. Then we just need a roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis.
Yes.
Just a note of call. Since Bob Ray is the chairman, he should be moved to the last vote. He shouldn't be voted in the middle. He should be the last vote to be made, so that, one of us is.
Where are we going here? Yep,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, is it possible, or should I defer to conversations with Ms. Rennie about whether we can appear on September 7th, which I believe is the next meeting, and our deadline would be August 27th for filing, if I did my math right? Because my client is anxious to kind of get rolling on this, one way or another, win, lose, or draw. He'd like, to get in front of the board and get this wrapped up.
I have room on that meeting if you want to go to that one.
Yes, please schedule us.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Locor Realty, Block 31606, Lot 21, 67 Ithanel Road. The applicant would like to amend the site plan to install a rooftop solar system. No other change to the property. Someone here representing Locor.
Eric Wood, attorney at law, 51 High Street, Newton, on behalf of Locor.
And Eric, can you tell them I'm on with you?
Hold on, I gotta see where we are now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
No, Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay, good. Make sure.
go ahead.
I also, Nick Infinito from United Solar is having a difficult time logging in. I have him on my cell phone. Would that suffice for you?
Yeah. As long
Okay,
as we can
good.
hear him.
Okay, Locor's got two applications before you. I'm gonna start with 469 River Stick Road, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay, I note that the board, first of all, good evening, I'm Eric Wood. Mr. Haggerty, hello, I haven't seen you in a long time. The board shall have in front of them the letter, July 20, 2021, from Matt McDonald pertaining to the application, where he finds that the application is seeking site plan approval, no variances are required, and he specifies the property located at block 31605, lot 14. It's B1 Commercial Business Zone, the Borough of Hopatcong, a regularly shaped lot. This is just a solar installation. The board should also have in front of it the May 28, 2021 Barron Corp. Engineering Report, which specifies based upon its evaluation, it certifies the operation of the existing structure by installing the PV system, meets the requirements of applicable building codes, etc. And the existing roof structural framing has been reviewed, and the additional loading on the roof is not going to be a problem. That's what should be before you on that application, as well as the plans. Did I lose anybody?
Now, Mr. Wood, perhaps we can swear in your witness. We just need a little bit of testimony.
Sure. Hey, Nick,
Yes.
they're going to want to swear you in. Can you hear them okay?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is Nicholas, I take it?
Nicholas Infantino, yes.
Spell your last name.
Frank, Antino.
Okay, and how are you related to the application?
I'm the manager of United Solar, the installation company.
Manager of this installation company. Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what's the name of the installation company?
United Solar Co.
Okay. Mr. Wood, what's in the building now? What's there?
In this building, there's 35 rental units.
Is there any change in parking, lighting, ingress and egress?
Mr. Ingenito, there's no change in lighting ingress, right? You're not doing anything with the parking lot, just strictly on the rooftop, correct?
That is correct, yes. No changes.
This seems like a pretty simple application. I don't, is there any questions from any of the board members?
What's the size, what size is this installation?
It's 252 panels, 108 kilowatt system on 469.
We're only addressing 469 right now, Nick.
Right, right.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board? Okay. Seeing none, I'll open this application to the public. Anybody from the public, Daniel?
If anybody from the public would like to comment, go to the reactions button at the bottom of your screen. I don't see anybody, Bob.
Seeing none, okay. I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board. Do we have a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We got a motion, we have a second.
Who was the second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Anthony. Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan? Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
yes,
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Salvaggio?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yeah.
Mr. Ray?
Yes. Okay, your application was approved.
Thank you. Can we move on to the second application for Locor involving 67 Ithanol Road at Hopatcong?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Eric Wood, attorney at law, 51 High Street, Newton, New Jersey, representing Locor Realty. Again, I have Nick Infinito from United Solar, who would like to be re-sworn, or can he just stay the way he is?
It's a new matter, so please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
And again, you are a representative, the manager of the installation company, United Solar Company.
That's
Correct?
correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to draw the board's attention. Again, you have a engineering letter from Mont McDonald dated July 20, 2021, making reference that the property is located at 31606 lot 21 in the B1 commercial business zone. The subject property is rectangular shaped with a lot frontage on Ithanol Road. It's a single family dwelling. It's a residence, and they're proposing to install solar panels and no variances are required. In addition, I believe you have a report, let me just find it in front of me, from Richard B. Gordon, dated May 24, 2021, which he certifies under number 1 that the type of framing structure is definitely capable to support all the loads that are indicated below for this project. And then he also goes on to say it's going to be designed in accordance with general conformance of all manufacturer specifications. I'll just bring that to your attention, as well as you have the plans, and wherever you want to go.
Okay, is there any questions to this applicant from any of the board members?
How big is this system?
It's 26 panels, 9.1 kilowatts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll open this application to the public. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to comment on this application?
I don't see anyone, Bob.
None? Okay, I'll close it to the We good? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board for a motion.
Make a
I'll move
motion.
it.
Okay, Rich made the motion and Bob Duncan seconded it.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
yes,
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Salvaggio?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes. Okay, your application was approved.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr.
Thank-
Haggerty.
May I ask, is there a possibility the applicant's going to want to really get moving on this project?
Nick, when's he looking to get starting on this project?
ASAP.
ASAP. Give me a date, Nick.
No, you may want to request a waiver.
We should have done it for both.
Yeah, you can request a waiver of the resolution, Mr. Woods. You can present construction plans and application right away.
Thank you. I'd like to request a waiver on this application and the former application at 469 River Styx Road.
Okay, we have the motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Haggerty, can I do them both at the same time?
Why don't you take them separately?
Okay,
Take this one first.
okay. Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
yes,
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Salvaggio?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Francis? Mayor Francis?
Yes.
And Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Then there would be a motion on the other property, which is block 31605, lot 14.
I'd like to make a motion for 469 River Styx Road.
That's it. Mhm.
I'll second.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
yes,
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Salvaggio?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes. Okay,
All right, gentlemen, thank you for bringing up that waiver issue. Thank you for the, for that waiver.
okay, thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Night.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application on the agenda is Mr. Ardeshna, block 10905, lot 4, 8 North Way. The applicant would like to rebuild a house that was burned down to the foundation and expand the back based on their space requirements. Variances being requested are 242-038D1, 242-38D2, 242-38D4, 242-38E1, and any other variances required by the board. There's someone here?
Chairman, yeah, Mr. Chairman, I've got to apologize. I look at this and I recognize the applicant. I had done some work for him. I'm going to step down. I think the board is more than capable of handling this. I don't see a heavy lift on this application, but if I could just step back while the board addresses it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Haggerty.
Okay.
Okay, is Mr. Ardeshna here?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you'd like to do.
I had my architect with me. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. I had my architect with the A. Patel.
Ray, Bill, Bob,
Yes,
can you swear him in since Bill stepped back? Just so he's giving testimony?
I guess, if I can do that. Mr. Ardeshna, can you raise your right hand?
Sure. Sure.
Where the testimony you're going to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He's in.
Good going, Bob.
I did with your ceremony anyway. While you were starting, I did all the time with you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to rebuild a house that was burned down?
Yes. I had my architect with me in a meeting. Mr. Patel.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear
Mr.
me?
Patel, is he going to be giving testimony also?
Yes, he's my architect. He can answer the question, whatever you like.
Okay, okay. Mr. Patel, can you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Avart Patel. I'm a licensed architect in New Jersey, and I was the one who prepared the drawings, which everyone should have it. So the existing house was burned down, and we want to rebuild the house. There's an existing pad, concrete pad, slab on grade, and then based on the owner's latest requirements, we are proposing an addition on the back side of the house. Because of the existing non-conforming conditions, there are some variances triggered by this development. That's why we are presenting this application. So the existing house, it was a standard bi-level house, and the proposed house is going to be more on a center hall colonial style house with a little modern exterior. Do you want me to go through the design, or?
No, I don't think we have to go through all that unless someone wants to. I mean, we have the drawing in front of us here, so.
How about the layout of the lot and the expansion?
Okay. Yeah. So, since the existing the existing pad, hello.
Hey, Bill Donegan, can you mute yourself? You're getting some feedback.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah. So see, the existing house, the front of the house is going to be 20-foot setback. And the looking at the plan, the right side of the house, there's no change proposed. That's going to be the existing footprint. And on the left side, we are extending about 4 foot 6 inches, making the side yard setback 15 feet. That is in compliance with the existing zoning ordinance. Both side yards will be in compliance. The front yard, the existing is 25 feet, and the proposed, the required is 40. So that's where the one of the variants is. And on the back, beyond the house, there is an open deck, two-tier deck. The side grades of back to front, there's a slope of about 8 to 9%. We are going to comply with the rear setback, which is 20 feet, and we are way beyond that. So, yep. Oh, okay. Sorry, you have it on the screen. I was looking at my screen. Sorry.
So basically, the variances you're requesting are there's nothing you could do about them anyway. I mean, they're
correct.
Yeah.
It's
So
a non-conforming existing condition.
Yeah. So you're falling you're still within all of the setbacks, front yard, side yard. So you're still completely in the building envelope.
That is correct. And because of the addition, we are exceeding the impervious coverage. So that's one of the variants we are requesting.
Okay. Did you get a copy of the letter from the town engineer?
Yes, I did.
Okay. There's a couple items on that review. Did you have a problem with any of those items on there with complying with them?
No, I don't think so. Most of the items we actually the resubmission. We already responded to that, but we'll comply with all of those conditions.
Anybody from the board wish to question this applicant?
I assume this property has both city water and sewer?
Yes.
That is correct.
It's in a completely, Bill, Phil, it's in a completely developed neighborhood. All the houses are pretty much the same. It just burned down. They just basically want to rebuild and make it a little bit bigger.
I understand.
Just a couple of questions. You're not showing any, your response back to one of my comments is that you're not proposing any change in grade. So there's no basement, correct? So you're not going to excavate and generate a lot of fill.
No.
Fill associated with the foundation, you're going to remove off-site, because if you, my only concern is that if you are going to change the grades, we want to make sure that you're not going to start to discharge water to the neighboring properties, because right now the water just flows towards the roadway, but we don't want you to change those drainage patterns and start impacting a neighbor.
That is correct. There is literally no change proposed in terms of the existing site grading. And whatever we excavate, we're going to put it on the existing pad. Right now there's a used to be a 2-car garage and the house, so there is no grade difference. It's all one level. So with this addition, we are adding a couple of steps. You walk up to a couple of steps, and then that's where your house is. So we'll use that the excavated soil to fill on the front. But beyond the footprint, there is no change on existing site grade proposed.
Okay, and you are asking for a variance from the maximum building footprint coverage. The existing house was conforming. Can you give some testimony of to justify that hardship that you're requesting?
Sure. So the existing house was as I said, it was a standard bi-level house. And, based on the owner's current needs and they want to keep the living area and 1 bedroom on the first floor, and, with a 2-car garage, and that wasn't feasible with the existing footprint. And then the bedrooms upstairs are mainly for their kids, So given the requirements, living, dining, bedroom, 2-car garage, and a kitchen, we had to expand the footprint to make the design work.
All right, well, I know you're not a planner, so I'm not going to question that, because the hardship is not related to the to your personal preferences. You talk about hardship is because you're taking 20% of the lot, and the lot is undersized. Therefore, to get a slightly larger home, you're going to require that variance. So the testimony should be related to the size of the lot versus your personal preference.
Are there, what do you plan to do, since you're increasing the roof structure and the impervious? What do you plan to do with the extra water? Are you having any dry wells or anything put in to control it?
Not at the moment, no. I mean, I think the existing soil condition, it's rocky, and especially where the addition is, we are even wondering whether we will be able to put. There's a rock shelf, and we were thinking we'll be able to do the spread footing or not, just to begin with. So. Again, putting a drywall and that kind of, this overall with this new footprint, the site is already tight. So we didn't look into any of that.
Rich, I'm pretty familiar with that whole development up there, and that whole development is built on a solid rock ledge. I mean, all those septic systems up there when they were put in, they were all blasted, every single one of them. It's totally rock ledge up there, 2 feet down.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
How does the water get addressed then, other than we'll gain more area and let it do whatever it does?
I mean, as part of the overall design, and when the leader comes down, we can try to slow down the runoff, with the some landscaping around it. But given the slope of the site, and then the soil conditions, I mean, it's really, there's nothing much we can do. I mean, drywall it works with when you have a good perk test, but it's all rocky soil.
And perhaps the house was too big. I mean, how to address the water too. I mean, that's a big issue in New Jersey, right?
No, I get that, but given the existing slope, I mean, even with the grass, you're going to have the runoff. I mean, I get that the roof surface is not a grass surface, but
The only thing I can say, Bob, is that I don't know if you went up there and looked at it, but that, everything runs to the road. I mean, nothing is gonna be, whatever they do there is not gonna affect any of the neighbors. I mean, their driveway's gonna run down just like every other house in that development runs down.
As long as it doesn't impact them. I mean, we have to watch them too.
I mean, I walked it pretty good, and anything that runs off that site is running down the driveway and down to the road.
So we just stipulate that the slope can't change and must drain to the road as part of the approval.
You know,
All
when
right, sounds good. I think he's testifying that doesn't want to change that. So let's put that in the resolution or whatever, that it has to keep that
Drainage pattern.
exactly.
Yeah, and when he installs the gutters and the leaders, you know, he can put the leaders actually in the front of the house versus in the back, so therefore the water will get to the road and not, you know, neighboring property. So a portion of the roof may be more difficult, but the majority of the roof you can pick up and just bring it right to the front.
All right, that sounds good.
Mr. Patel, you okay with those changes? Just to make sure everything goes to the street.
Absolutely.
Well, but the picture of the back of the house will drive it right to the middle, and then it's got to make its way to the sides to do that. Otherwise, it's coming up to the property. When you look at the back elevation, the rear elevation, you're going to have, you know, both pitched to that. You're going to have one downspout there, probably between either the sunroom. You're going to have something, you got to somehow flip it to the front.
Yes, absolutely. We'll make it work. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions of this applicant? All right, seeing none, I'll open it to the public. Is anybody from the public wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, Danielle?
No, I don't see any, Bob.
Okay, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board. We have a motion.
I'll move it, and with the stipulation that all the runoff does go to the front of the house and onto the road.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
yes,
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Salvaggio?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes. Okay, your application's been approved.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Next item, zoning officer report. Bill, you got anything? Where is he?
Nope, I had to unmute myself. No, nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight? Okay. Any discussions? Resolutions, we have, what, two, Danielle?
Two.
Two resolutions. The first one is Mark Annis. The hearing date was July 20th, 2021. Motion is in order to approve the Annis resolution.
Could we put that off to the next meeting, Bob? I didn't even get a chance to read that. 4 meetings, we had a lot of stipulations for that. I'd like to get a chance to at least read it.
Okay.
I
I
mean-
guess we can we put that on the next month's agenda, Danielle, please?
Yes, we can.
We need a motion to carry that or no?
Yeah, make a motion to carry it to the next, voice, it's just an acclamation vote.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? It'll be on the next agenda.
Okay, thank you. The next resolution is Brian Bestorn. Motion is in order to approve the Bestorn
If you can hold that,
application.
yeah, if you can hold that, when I did receive a call this evening from the applicant's attorney, he asked that be held while they're kind of this is the one with an
Yes.
objector, and they're just making sure that language is okay. I think the attorney hadn't really had a chance to look at it, so he asked, and I indicated I didn't think the board would have a problem because it's the applicant's request.
Okay. I guess it's the same thing, Bill, just all in favor?
Same thing. Mhm.
All in favor to carry this
Yes.
resolution?
Yes.
Yes. Aye.
aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the I guess escrow refunds, but there's not, I mean, there's nothing there. Next thing is the bills. Do we have a motion to pay the bills?
Pay the bill.
Pay the bill.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Salvaggio?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes. Okay, next item, okay, the meeting is open to the public after giving all persons present an opportunity to address the land use board. Okay, that's not me. The meeting's open to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on? Nothing, Danielle?
I don't see anyone.
All right, I'll close it to the public, bring it back to the board. Is there any old business? Have any old business? Any new old business? Any new business? None, Danielle?
One for new business. My replacement starts on Monday.
Where are you going?
I am taking over for Shelley Tarr. She retired.
All right, well,
So
we're gonna
I'll be
miss,
about 5 feet away from the new replacement.
we're gonna miss you.
I'll still be here for a while. I'm not gonna let her fly until she knows what she's doing. So
Good.
I'll be here for a while.
Good.
Where's the puppy?
There's a puppy.
I'm not going to disturb her. She's being quiet.
All right,
I'll go ahead.
I'm looking for, we're all done? We're looking for a motion to adjourn. Do we have an emotion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Bob beat her to it.
Desperate.
It's still gonna say Judy because that's how my minutes are set up already.
All right.